Welcome to the live international webinar organized by Department of Physical Education, St. Xavier's College for Women, Aluva. Here are some rules to be followed during the meeting. Keep video and audio muted and don't present your screen during the webinar session to avoid disturbance. To view the presentation by the resource person throughout the session, pin her presentation to your screen. For that, bring your cursor to the name of the resource person in the participants list. Then you can see three icons. Click on the pin icon to the pin screen. Questions, if any, may be posted in the public chat box. It shall be discussed based on the time available after the session. Kindly write your name, official address, and email ID in the chat box once you join the webinar. Towards the end of the webinar, the feedback form will be shared in the chat box, which should be filled by the participant to get the e-certificate. Thank you.
Suprabhatam, Suprabhat, good morning. Welcome to the live international webinar organized by the Department of Physical Education, St. Xavier's College for Women, Aluva, Kerala, India. The logo was unveiled in 2015 by India's External Affairs Minister Srimati Sushma Swaraj and Sripan Yeso Naik, the Minister of State for Ayush. The country's new Department of Ayurveda, Yoga and Naturopathy, Unani, Siddha and Homeopathy. Representing harmony and peace, International Yoga Day was hereby declared by the UN in December. And that decision, which was supported by 177 countries, came less than 12 weeks after our Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi proposed it. Now, that is maybe what you would call a power yoga move. In the logo, the folded hands symbolize yoga. The brown leaves symbolize the earth. The green leaves, the nature. Blue, fire, and the sun symbolizes the source of energy and inspiration.
Once again, good morning, everyone. We all know that yoga is not something to be discussed via internet. But as the situation is not favorable, we have to adjust with it. Even though we are not together as a group in a room, we are together online in a digitalized platform. So let us begin today's program with a silent prayer. To give a quick glance regarding yoga, may I request Professor Binu Correa, Faculty of Zoology Department, for the same.
Yoga is a way of life to attain self realization. Hence, an ancient physical, mental, and spiritual practice that originated in India. International Day of Yoga is a global event celebrated on every 21st of June. This year, the whole world will celebrate the 6th International Day of Yoga. This day was declared by United Nations General Assembly in December 2014. Yoga Day is important to celebrate to make people aware of the benefits of yoga. Yoga has medical benefits and it helps in curing many diseases, increases flexibility, and so on. During this COVID-19 lockdown, the theme for this year is Yoga at Home and Yoga with Family.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Dr. Cicily Pearly Alex, Head of the Department of Physical Education, for the welcome address.
A warm good morning, everyone. Your body exists in the past and your mind exists in the future. In yoga, they come together in the present. It's a great pleasure for me to welcome each one of you to this webinar on Yoga for Healthy Living. First and foremost, let me welcome Reverend Dr. Sister Gigi Jonama Xavier, our principal, who is a strong pillar of guidance and support for the upliftment of our college, especially to the Department of Physical Education. A warm welcome, dear sister. As we celebrate International Yoga Day today, it is an honor for us to welcome Dr. Vrinda Madhavan, Director of Ayruveda Hospital, Kasaragod, to handle today's session. Hearty welcome, Dr. Vrinda. CTC management and the community is always a well-wisher for sports and games. I extend my sincere gratitude and warm welcome to all from the Xavier family. Last but not the least, I extend my sincere welcome to all the delegates, especially those who are registered from abroad, and to my colleagues, friends, and students for sparing your valuable time. I hope this webinar will surely benefit you. Once again, welcoming all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I invite Reverend Dr. Sister Gigi Jonama Xavier, our dear principal, for the keynote address.
ഏവർക്കും നമസ്കാരം. ഇന്നത്തെ വിശിഷ്ടാതിഥി ഡോക്ടർ വൃന്ദ മാധവൻ, ആലുവ സെന്റ് സേവിയേഴ്സ് കോളേജിലെ ഫിസിക്കൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ വിഭാഗം മേധാവി ഡോക്ടർ സിസിലി പേർലി അലക്സ്, ഓർഗനൈസിംഗ് കമ്മിറ്റി മെമ്പേഴ്സ് ഡോക്ടർ അൻസ അൽഫോൻസ, മിസ് ബിനു കൊറയ, പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട ശ്രോതാക്കളെ, ആദ്യമേ തന്നെ ഈ അന്തർദേശീയ യോഗ ദിനത്തിന്റെ എല്ലാ നന്മകളും മംഗളങ്ങളും ആശംസിക്കുന്നു. ഒപ്പം ഇന്ന് ഇത്തരത്തിലൊരു വെബിനാർ സംഘടിപ്പിക്കുന്നതിന് നേതൃത്വം നൽകി സെന്റ് സേവിയേഴ്സ് കോളേജിലെ ഫിസിക്കൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ വിഭാഗ മേധാവി ഡോക്ടർ സിസിലി പേർലി അലക്സിനെയും കമ്മിറ്റി അംഗങ്ങളെയും ഹൃദയപൂർവ്വം ഞാൻ അഭിനന്ദിക്കുന്നു. നമുക്ക് അഭിമാനിക്കാവുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യം, ഇത്തരത്തിൽ ഇന്ത്യയുടെ തനത് പാരമ്പര്യം പൈതൃകമായ യോഗയെ തലത്തിൽ ഉയർത്താൻ സാധിച്ചത് ഇന്ത്യയുടെ തന്നെ അമരക്കാരനായ ഇന്ത്യൻ പ്രധാനമന്ത്രി നരേന്ദ്രമോദിയുടെ ഒരു ജാഗ്രത കൊണ്ടാണ്. അത് നമുക്ക് ഇന്ത്യക്കാർക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും അഭിമാനിക്കാവുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യമാണ്. അദ്ദേഹം 2014 സെപ്റ്റംബർ 27 UN ജനറൽ അസംബ്ലിക്ക് നൽകിയ ഒരു പ്രഭാഷണ മധ്യത്തിലാണ് യോഗാ ദിനത്തിന്റെ പ്രാധാന്യത്തെക്കുറിച്ചും യോഗയ്ക്ക് മനുഷ്യ ജീവിതത്തിലുള്ള പ്രാധാന്യത്തെക്കുറിച്ചും അദ്ദേഹത്തിന്റെ പ്രഭാഷണ മധ്യത്തിലാണ് ഇത്തരത്തിൽ ഒരു അന്തർദേശീയ യോഗ പ്രഖ്യാപിക്കേണ്ടതിന്റെ ആവശ്യകതയെക്കുറിച്ച് സൂചിപ്പിച്ചത്. 177 മെമ്പർ സ്റ്റേറ്റ്സ് അതിന് അനുകൂലമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു മറുപടി നൽകുകയും അങ്ങനെ 2015 മുതൽ ജൂൺ 21 യോഗ ദിനത്തിൽ ആചരിക്കുവാൻ തുടങ്ങുകയും ചെയ്തു. എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് ജൂൺ 21 തിരഞ്ഞെടുത്തത് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ അദ്ദേഹം പറയുന്നത്, ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ ലോങ്സ്റ്റ് ഡേ ഓഫ് ദ ഇയർ ഇൻ ദ നോർത്തേൺ ഹെമിസ്ഫിയർ. ആർഷ ഭാരതത്തിലെ മുനിവര്യന്മാർ പ്രണിധാനത്തോളം എത്തുവാൻ കണ്ടുപിടിച്ച വിദ്യ യോഗയായിരുന്നു. ശാരീരികവും മാനസികവും ആത്മീയവും ഭൗതികവുമായ സമഞ്ജസമായി സമ്മേളിപ്പിച്ചുകൊണ്ടുള്ള സമഗ്രമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ജീവിതചര്യയ്ക്ക് യോഗ ഉപകരിക്കുമെന്ന് നമ്മെ പഠിപ്പിച്ചതും നമ്മുടെ പിതൃക്കളായ മുനിവര്യന്മാർ തന്നെയാണ്. ഇന്ന് ഈ യോഗ നാം ആചരിക്കുമ്പോൾ, യോഗാ ദിനമായിട്ട് ആചരിക്കുമ്പോൾ, ഇത് കേവലം ഒരു ദിവസത്തിന് വേണ്ടി മാത്രമുള്ള ഒരു പ്രക്രിയയല്ല. മനുഷ്യ ജീവിതത്തെ ഏകോപിപ്പിക്കുന്നതിന് വൈകാരികവും വൈചാരികവും ഐന്ദ്രിയവും ഭൗതികവുമായ നമ്മുടെ വിചാര തലങ്ങളെ ഏകോപിപ്പിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് സമഞ്ജസമായ നല്ലൊരു ജീവിത ശൈലി രൂപപ്പെടുത്തിയെടുക്കുവാൻ യോഗയ്ക്ക് സാധിക്കും. ഇന്ന് ഈ യോഗാ ദിനത്തിൽ നമുക്ക് നല്ലൊരു പ്രഭാഷണം നൽകാൻ ലഭിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത് ഡോക്ടർ വൃന്ദ മാധവനെയാണ്. വലിയ സന്തോഷമുണ്ട്. കാസർഗോഡ് ആയുർവേദ ഹോസ്പിറ്റലിന്റെയും കനിവ് പാലിയേറ്റീവ് സെന്ററിന്റെയും ഡയറക്ടറായിട്ടുള്ള ഡോക്ടർ വൃന്ദ മാധവൻ ഈ ദിനം നമുക്ക് വളരെ പ്രചോദനാത്മകമായ ഒരു പ്രഭാഷണം നൽകുമെന്ന് നല്ലൊരു പ്രതീക്ഷിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അത് ലഭിക്കുമെന്നറിയാം. ഈ ദിനത്തിന്റെ എല്ലാ നന്മകളും ആശംസിച്ചുകൊണ്ടും ഡോക്ടർ വൃന്ദ മാധവനെ സെന്റ് സേവിയേഴ്സ് കോളേജിലെ മാനേജ്മെന്റിന്റെയും സ്റ്റാഫിന്റെയും സ്റ്റുഡൻസിന്റെയും പേരിൽ സ്വാഗതം ആശംസിച്ചുകൊണ്ടും ഞാൻ നിർത്തുന്നു. നന്ദി, നമസ്കാരം.
Thank you, sister. For introducing our guest and speaker for today's session, I request Dr. Ansa Alfonsa Anthony, Faculty of Statistics, for the same.
Good morning, all. I am privileged to introduce our resource person, Dr. Vrinda Madhavan, the Director of District Cooperative Ayurveda Hospital, Kasaragod, and Kaniv Palliative Society. She is practicing yoga from childhood and has MSc, UGC NET, and PhD in yoga. She has presented papers on yoga in national and international seminars. She has conducted yoga sessions in various parts of India and abroad. She is a certified Reiki healer too. Dear participants, we are fortunate to have such a resourceful person amongst us to share her knowledge on yoga with us. Wish you all a happy and healthy living through yoga. Thank you.
So without any further delay, let's begin the session, Yoga for Healthy Living. If you're having any queries, you can type in the chat box and will be answered after the presentation. Over to you, ma'am, for your presentation.
Good morning, everyone. I think I am audible.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Pearly, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes. You can all see me.
Yes.
Yes. As been introduced, I am Dr. Vrinda Madhavan from Kasaragod, and I would like to use this 40 minutes time to share and let you know what is yoga. So first of all, I thank a sister, principal, and all the staff of St. Xavier's College, and my dear students, everyone who is keenly listening to me to know something about yoga. So before I start on my presentation, let me just give you a few key points on this webinar meeting. Usually yoga sessions are taken interactively. That is, you see the person in front and then practice yoga in all means. Because it is a webinar class, you can only be listening to me. But in between, I'll try to give you some practical sessions also, because I won't be able to interact with you. But that's why the energy of the class may be a bit less. Usually, I take the class with a lot of interactions. So I shall start my PPT. There is nothing much in my PPT, but I will be discussing the points in detail. So may I start my PPT, ma'am?
Okay, ma'am.
Pearly, ma'am, can I start my presentation?
Yes, start.
Okay. Uh, so, okay, presenting. So, the topic is the yoga for healthy living. So, let me start my presentation or my class with a simple example. So, if you take an example of water, water is useful in many ways. So, water is used by households to cook, to drink, to have bath, and water is used by chemists as H2O. Water is used by painters to reduce and to color their paints. So water, though being single thing, is being diversely used in our life. And so is yoga. Very simple way to explain yoga would be this. Yoga being one thing, but being used in very diverse way. So let me start. So you can see the PPT, you can see the presentation, how happy the kid is. So this is what yoga comes out with. Yoga for healthy living. So as water is being used by a householder for cooking, me being a doctor, I would use yoga to cure and manage diseases and to convert a human being to live healthy and happy. So this would be my way of explanation of yoga in today's class. Okay. Now, what is yoga? You must have been heard of yoga in all ways of life, especially once we have started with this International Day of Yoga. You must have heard of yoga in all sections of your life. Yoga is being one with consciousness, yoga is being one with nature, yoga is postures, yoga is pranayama, yoga is meditation. These are the common terms you come to know of yoga. All these are right, absolutely correct. But let me just start with the primordial yoga. What is yoga? Because when someone asks you, have you known about yoga or have you heard about yoga, you should be able to tell, like you have listened to a webinar and you should be able to say what is yoga. Initially, what you should know about yoga. The word meaning yoga, verbal. The word meaning of yoga, if there are any English students or English teachers, you know what is a verbal meaning. So when you talk of that particular word yoga, the yoga, it's a Sanskrit word, and it has been explained as yujyate anena iti yoga. That is a Sanskrit sentence. Yujyate meaning to combine, to join. So whatever you join or whatever you combine is supposed to be yoga. You combine both your hands as you see in the picture. You combine both your hands, that is yoga. You combine, you talk to a person, that is yoga. You shake hands with a person, that is yoga. You just watch a movie and just get engrossed in the movie, that is yoga. You listen to a music and enjoy the music, that is yoga. So, am I well aiding you? Is this yoga very far from what you have thought of? No. This is just the word meaning of yoga. Now you will have to know what is it that you have to combine with. There is something, two things or maybe more than two things which you have to combine. So, there are many definitions to yoga, but the word meaning of yoga is yujyate anena iti yoga. But the yoga textbook says what you have to combine is Jivatma and Paramatma. What is Jivatma and Paramatma? Does it sound very, very differently? It is very simple. We are talking about the consciousness or the awareness or the energy. Our whole world sustained in energies. The physics people can explain you what is energy. It can't be created, neither it can be destroyed. It can only transform. The energy can only be transformed. Maybe in one form of energy, you can always transform into another form of energy, but you can't create it. You can't create it. So that is what yoga is. So we are speaking about the Jivatma called the individual energy and the universal energy that is the Paramatma. So we have an energy within us. We have that is in yoga. We call it as consciousness. We are living with consciousness. We are living with awareness. There is another energy which we have to perceive. That is universal energy, and that you need to perceive only with the awareness that you have to build within you. You should understand that there is an energy larger than what you are having as individual energy. That is what we are trying to build up with yoga. We are just trying to unite our energy with the universal energy so that we can rise up, so that we can progress. Progress is what we require in life. We should not be degraded. We should be progressing. Another joining, another union is of mind, the physical body, the mind, the soul. That is again yoga. Again, I should take an example. You are writing your homework. You're listening to the class. Your body is in the class. Your mind is in the film theater. Your mind is in the park. Your mind is in the dishes prepared by your parent at home. That doesn't feed yoga because yoga is not happening there. That's why you are not being raised there. You are not being bettered there because the class is not heard by you. So there the yoga comes again. If your physical body, if your physical sense organ, that is your ear, is being connected with the mind, and if the mind has understood something what you have heard in the class, the soul in you would have understood the session you have heard in the class, and that would have transformed your energy higher. That would have made you better living being. So what I want to tell about yoga is you have to combine mind, body, and your soul in each and every aspects of your life, each and every works of your life, so that it helps in you in developing yourself. That is the real knowledge, not just the attendance of your class or not just the doing of your works. Okay, let me just move on to my next definition. There are n number of definitions for yoga, but whatever is applicable to treatment and management of yourself, your physical body and mind, I would just go on. So the very famous definition of yoga would be yoga chitta vritti nirodha. So it's all very vague words because it is written in Sanskrit. Cessation of modification of mind. Maybe you are not much understood the meaning of it. So what is yoga? Yoga is to stop the disturbance of mind. So yoga is first showing its path towards the mind. So you can see the picture there. There are ripples in the water. A still water is your mind, and that is the requirement of yoga. If the mind is very still, without any ripples or without any waves in it, then your mind can perceive numerous things which this universe can give you. Each thought coming to your mind is like this droplet which falls on this water. And that droplet, that thought in the mind can cause ripples. Very simple example, you will be just sitting in a chair, relaxed. Someone comes and scolds you. That relaxed state of mind will just vanish and you start thinking n number of things. Why did the person scold me? What did I do to her? Why was she so arrogant to me? And many, many, many things. Like a thread, it just go on and on. And that mind takes lot many hours to settle down. Just as this water, once this small drop of water falls on the still water, it keeps making the ripples. So what the yoga needs is the stagnant water, that is very stable mind. The stable mind will lead to as uh, uh, as before told, the self realization. So what is a self realization? So we have not known yoga as all these things. We have known yoga as breathing laws and doing so many postures which are very difficult for people, common man to do. All this is usually known by us. So what is this self realization? So this particular sutra, what we call, or the sloka, is taken from Patanjali Yoga Sutra, that is a book written by sage Patanjali. This is the second shloka in that. The very immediate shloka tells that that once you do this cessation of modification of mind, if you stop the ripples of the mind, if you stop the disturbance of the mind, and if the mind is very stable, you come to know that who you are. Very wonderful, very interesting. So don't we know that who we are? Of course, we do know. I am Dr. Vrinda Madhavan. There is Pearly Miss. If you call, if you can ask who you are, you have lot many things. I am son and daughter of so many, so and so person. I am the wife and so person. I am the, head of the department, and so on and on. Absolutely no. Yoga says there is a person in you, that is the soul. These things, Dr. Vrinda Madhavan, doctor, director of so and so institutions, all created by this body. So the real you is being understood by cessation of modification of mind. So that is called Swarupa Jnanam. That is self-realization. That is the motto. That is the idea behind yoga. That is the reason why we have to do yoga. But if we don't have to know ourselves, if we don't have to know the self-realization, we really don't want self-realization. On the path of self-realization, when we go towards the end of the yoga, it's a long process. Yoga just doesn't happen with one day or with an hour or so. So on the path of attaining yoga, we get lot many things, lot many things in the happenings in the physical body and physical mind, what we say. So that is what we are going to discuss here. So what we need now is stop these ripples. What you have seen in front of your screen is the ripples in the mind. You have to just stop it and make it still so that you can see the bottom of this stream or the pond. That bottom is you. That bottom is the real self-realization. Now, my topic was yoga in healthy living. So we should also know what is health. So health is initially, it was described by WHO, World Health Organization, as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely absence of disease. So still, many of them, the educated people around, still feel that health is absence of disease. But no, though you don't have diseases, you still don't feel healthy. That too, physical, mental, and social. Physical, your body, your hands, your legs, your eyes, your nose, your ears, physical. Mental, your psychological or whatever you think in your mind, all that is mental, mind related. Social, what is the social well-being? So do we have to think of the society also? Yes, of course. You are physically fit with all those biceps and triceps and all that. You are mentally fit. No, you can think, you can calculate, you can, you can read a lesson by heart within 5 minutes time. All that's very, very well, very good. But if that your uh, neighbor is not very good with you, you just can't open your doors. So is there any health in that? You would like to come out of the house, talk with people, happy being there, play with people around. So that is a society, that is a social well-being. You need that too. But 1948, the definition of health was disregarded again by WHO because health can never be a state, because that keeps changing. It is not a state, it is a process. Complete. Can ever anyone be complete? Maybe physically, maybe mentally, maybe socially. No one can be complete. There is 99.9%, there is 0.1% remaining somewhere or there. So it was rewritten by Huber in 2011 as health is the ability to adapt and to self-manage in the face of social, physical, and emotional challenges. Very simple. If you're able to adapt yourself to any situations which comes in front of you, that is health. Maybe physical. So you need to just lift a 20 kgs of a sack of rice all of a sudden in unexpected circumstances, and you are able to lift it, then you are healthy. If there was a big storm of disturbance, mental disturbance, a grief, a sudden grief, and you are able to manage that sudden grief, then it is supposed to be, then you are supposed to be healthy. Or the social or emotional challenges. All of a sudden, the corona or the epidemic or pandemic broke out. You are able to sit inside the house, stay home, stay safe. All this happens. Then you are supposed to be healthy because you have adapted. I didn't say adopt, I said adapted, adjusted yourself with the challenges what you had faced in front of you. That is health. That was rewritten in 2011. So in the health, the definition of health is very much important at this time now, because we are all home, staying very much inside the house because of this pandemic. So what can yoga do for this situation? Because of this pandemic, there are a lot many things happening. People are thinking of their immunity. What we can do with yoga is you can increase your immunity very well, 100%. And one more thing you can do during this pandemic is be stress-free with yoga. It's all 100% scientifically proven. And if I have time, I think I can talk to you about that, but I don't think so we'll have that much of time. And my next slide goes as, who can do yoga? That's a common, very, very common question being asked to me when I take the sessions. Who can do yoga? So there are many misconceptions about yoga, that small children can't do yoga. Men can't do, women of this age can't do, children of this age can't do. And I have also heard that really about the religion, when you think of, the certain sect of religion can do, it is meant for them. And, the very yoga text called Hatha Yoga Pradipika says, Navesha Dharanam Siddhi, Karyameva Karanam Siddhi. You know what it means? You don't have to wear an attire to say that you are an yoga aspirant. Yoga aspirant need not have a saffron colored dress or the rudraksha around his neck or the jadas on his head. And he need not go and sit on Himalayas or the snow-laden places. Na vesha dharanam siddhi. To achieve yoga, you don't have to wear a certain attire. Or I am 100% sure that you must not be, expecting me to come in a very, very pious way. So what you speak and what you do is the utmost importance there. Yoga, anyone can do yoga. So there are questions like, can a menstruating woman do yoga? Is there any physical fitness range that you should be having to do yoga? And if my leg is not, if my knee is paining, can I do yoga? Or if my back is aching, can I do yoga? I have difficulty in walking because of my age. Can I do yoga? So if you have known yoga, if you have listened to my definition on yoga, surely you must be understanding by now that everyone in the world, irrespective of the age, gender, physical fitness, everyone can do yoga. But how much they can do, what they can do, depends. That you may have to consult a yoga trainer or therapist, that what are the things you can do. So even just doing breathing exercises is yoga. That's enough to keep up your health. Just doing small, very easy steps in asanas. That's enough for you. Keep manage the health. You don't have to really do all the very tactics, very difficult part of yogasanas to keep yourself healthy. Just simple breathing would be more than enough to manage your health. Again, going back to the basics of yoga, there are many types of yoga which is commonly known. These are the common yoga which we come to hear. That is karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, hatha yoga, kundalini yoga. There are many more as kriya yoga. There are many more, but these are the very common types of yoga which you hear. Karma yoga is a path of action. You do certain action, and then you have become a yogi. Path of action, karma yoga. Bhakti yoga, the path of devotion. You're completely involved, surrendered yourself to the higher self in the devotion of God or in your devotion of to the parents or whatever. That becomes bhakti yoga. Then you surrender yourself. Jnana yoga, the path of knowledge. You read the old or scriptures, and then you understand what is yoga, how you have to live, how you have to manage yourself. Then you reach the yoga. Hatha yoga, yoga through physical techniques, the asanas, the shat karmas. There are many procedures like neti and all that. So that also will lead you to yoga. Kundalini yoga, again, this is a study about chakras like Muladhara chakra, Sahasrara chakra. There is a study about the chakras, and once you enlighten these chakras, you go to yoga. So what are the why so many types of yoga? Do we have to do all these types of yoga to reach the stability of mind? No. Any of these one thing is enough. Maybe your yoga, your stability of mind, maybe due through the path of action, or maybe through the path of devotion. Even through bhakti, you can make your mind stable and then go to attain self-realization or attain the final thing of yoga. Jnana yoga, the knowledge. Many people go through knowledge. By reading, they understand themselves, they understand what is the real essence of the energy of this universe, and many things like that. So these are the few types of yoga. And when you come to yoga itself, the sage Patanjali is one of the main person who have textualized yoga. And Ashtanga Yoga, he explains in his book called Patanjali Yoga Sutram. Nearly 5,000 years back, he has textualized yoga. Before there was no authentic text in yoga, and it was like spreaded all over in the Upanishads and Vedas, all over. Even in Bhagavad Gita, there are all the lessons are named as one or the other yogas. So it was just scattered here and there. And Sage Patanjali was a person who textualized yoga. And he mainly explains, actually, he has explained 4 chapters in it. One is Samadhi Pada, one is Sadhana Pada, one is Vibhuti Pada, one is about the Kaivalya Pada, the ultimate realization. There are 4 chapters in it, and there are 196 sutras or the shlokas. And main topic about he is talking about yoga is this Ashtanga Yoga, 8 limbs of yoga. That is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. Yama and Niyama are the rules and regulations we have to maintain in our life. That is cleanliness, all those are niyamas, and Yama will go as Satya, Ahimsa, and all that. That is a universal voice, universally what you have to conduct yourself. So personal conduct will be cleanliness, contentment in life, all that is niyamas. Asanas, that is what we really want to discuss here. Asanas are physical postures, and that is the thing which usually people know about. These are physical postures. We sit or lie, we stand in a certain posture, and you get the benefit of it. But the asanas should be sthira and sukha. If your legs are paining, if your hands are paining, if your back is paining, that posture doesn't become asana. It should be sthira and should be sukha. That is, it should be stable and it should be comfortable. Pranayama is a breathing technique, and that you do with restricted way of breathing. So pratyahara is withdrawing the senses. The sense organs has a sense objects. So the eyes see a certain object. So if you are able to withdraw the senses, that is, you don't go behind the sight you see, or you smell of a good dish and your mind starts thinking of only that, then that is not yoga. You should be able to cut down the thoughts of the smell sense there and then. So that is pratyahara. Dharana is concentration. You concentrate on a particular thing, that is dharana. Dhyana is meditation, and samadhi is the final ecstasy or bliss, what you get out of it. So these are 8 limbs, but you need to practice one after the other. Once you are done with yama and niyama, that is satya, himsa, steya, all that, truthfulness, if you are able to abide by all that, only then asana is possible. Only then you become stable and comfortable. Once the asanas are practiced well, only then you can go to pranayama. Then pratyahara happens. You are not behind your senses. You don't get, your mind, your body and mind doesn't become slave to the senses. Then you are able to do the concentration, because concentration is very much important to meditate. So if you are able to concentrate, then meditation happens, and then you get the ecstasy or complete bliss or complete happiness, which is not hampered by a small ripple or small drop of thing in your mind. It doesn't form any ripples once the samadhi is reached. Now, asanas. You must have heard of many types of asanas. So let me tell you, according to yoga, there are 72,000 nadis. There are many lakhs of nadis, but very importantly, there are 72,000 nadis. Nadis are the pathways wherein the blood flows, where the nerve impulses flows, where the food flows, where the water flows, wherein the air flows. All these tubular structures are called nadis. So every part and parcel of the bodies are connected with these nadis. So total of 72,000 nadis. So this 72,000 nadis has to be cleared. It is full of debris, completely blocked with all the unwanted things because of our living style, because of our food, because of our thoughts. Everything is blocked by our lifestyles, and that's why we have this ill health. It has to be cleared. And this clearing of nadis is done by asanas and shatkarmas, what we call as purification therapies. There are many purification therapies like Vasti, Vamana, Dhauti, Neti. Many things are there that I will not touch up to because we can't practice by just a webinar. Asanas is very common. You can see many type of asanas for each and every problem. So these are the few pictures of my students practicing asanas. This is Halasana. This is Paschimottasana. Bhujangasana. This is Sarvangasana. This is Natarajasana, this is Chakrasana. So all these asanas give a toning to the muscles. It tones the nerves. It allows the blood to flow easily to that particular part wherever we require. So these asanas are selected according to the individual, not that anyone and everyone does all these. So whatever is your requirement, if you are a student and you require to have more concentration and memory power, you need a set of asanas. And if you have a prakriti, because I'm an Ayurvedic doctor, that's why I didn't speak in such language itself. If your prakriti is vata, pitta or kapha, accordingly you will be given the yoga postures. Because every yoga, every definition of yoga, every benefit of yoga is according to the vata, pitta, kapha prakritis. So it is very vague if it is not good to practice anything and everything by anyone and everyone. So you need to select what is required for you, and that is the requirement of a trainer or other. And all of a sudden you do this particular chakrasana, you may not be able to get up the next day morning. So there is a way to reach that point, or there is a way you can do it. One fine day you won't be able to do this. Gradually you will have to give a stretching to each and every muscles there. You can see in chakrasana how this quadriceps and sartorius is being muscles are being stretched. So you need to have stretching for abdominal muscles and for the muscles of thighs. So it doesn't happen on one fine day. So it needs a lot of other exercises prior to this so that you reach there. So don't try such yogasanas all of a sudden on one fine international day of yoga. So it never happens. Never try that. So these are some of the examples of the yogasanas. Now let me skip to pranayama now. These are very easily done by people, and people feel that everyone can do this. But you should know the importance of pranayama. Prana is a vital energy, as I've said. You have a certain energy once you are born. If you are alive, you have prana in you. Until your death, you have prana. There are 5 types of prana which you are with. There are 5 types of prana because if there is a circulation, you have a dhyana prana. If there is a digestion in you, that's called samana prana. If there is, you are able to speak and make facial expressions, it's called udana prana. There are 5 types of prana which is, you are being functioning with. And these prana, if you are able to stretch and expand than the normal flow, then it is called pranayama. So many people ask, then is this, can we consider the long breathings, inspirations and expirations as pranayama? Of course. If you are able to stretch your normal breathing than the usual seconds, then that too can be called as pranayama. So before anyone trying out with this pranayama, let me tell you, do you know how to breathe? When you really don't know how to breathe, how are we going to do pranayama? How are we going to do asanas? So it's a very common thing. So do you know whether your abdomen falls out when you breathe in and your abdomen falls behind posteriorly when you breathe out? I want everyone to keep your right hand on your tummy, the navel, and just see when you breathe in, does the abdomen go out or in? Everyone see? Confused? You breathe in, your stomach pops out. You breathe out, your abdomen goes in. That is the way to breathe. And another point which I usually ask in the class is, are you aware that you are breathing? Now, the time is almost 10:45. At this hour, do you know that you are breathing? No. No one is aware of breathing unless and until he is suffocated with something. Otherwise, you are not aware of the breathing. So, before you start with the yoga, just be aware of the breathing, because breathe is the only tool by which you can keep the mind stable. The first picture tells you yoga needs the mind to be kept stable. So, how can we keep the mind stable? Can we handle the mind? Can we just put the hand on the mind and make it stable? Come on, don't worry, you have to be stable, no more ripples, as doctor said. It is not possible. You just can't handle mind otherwise. The only tool you can handle the mind is your breath. Very simple. The sloka says, Chale vate chalam chittam, nischale nischalam bhavet, yogi sthanutvam apnoti tatho vayum nirodhet. It's a sloka taken from Hatha Yoga Pratipika book. Very simple. When there is a disturbance in your prana, in your breath, chale vate, vate is the prana or the breath you take in. So when there is a disturbance, fluctuations in the breath you take, then chalam chittam, then the chittam, your mind fluctuates. Nischale nischalam bhavet. You make the prana stable, you make the breath stable. Nischalam bhavet, the chitta or the mind becomes stable without any ripples again. Yogi sthanatvam apnoti. You get what you get, if whatever you want to get through yoga. That is the self-realization is what is being told here. Sthanatvam. Yogi sthanatvam apnoti. Tatho vayum nirodhet. You have to maintain the vayu, maintain the breath, or redirect the breath in such a way, then the chitta or the mind will be stable, and then you are to yoga. So breath is a very, as a beginner to yoga, you just have to be aware of your breath. How long can you breathe in? How long can you breathe out? How can you just be aware of your breath? I want you all to close your eyes. Gently close your eyes. When you close your eyes, it should be as if you are just sleeping peacefully. Gently close your eyes. Let the forehead be without any curves, very flat. Okay? The forehead should be kept very flat and very, peaceful. You have to close your eyes as if, small kids sleeping. And then just watch your breath. Deeply breathing in, deeply breathing out. And what you have to do is you have to count the number of breaths per minute. The number of breaths per minute will decide your health, will decide your lifespan. So that is my next slide talking about. When you compare, very interestingly, the studies have been done on mammals' breathing rate. So usually, if you just count the breath you're taking per minute, there are people who say that I breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out make one breathing. Again, breathing and breathe out make the second breathing. So see your timer, see your watch, and make sure that 1 minute, how many breaths you can take. So usually you can see that man takes around 10 to 12 breaths. And if you're really anxious type of people, very worried type of people, very disturbed type of people, you may go up to 25 and more per minute. The more the breathing rate is, the less your lifespan will be. This is the chart which I would like to explain to you. You know that whales, elephant, they have the lifespan of 200 to 130 years. Again, 65 to 130 years for elephants. That is because they really have less number of breaths per minute. That is, if you have to have less number of breaths per minute, how should the breath be? Very slow. Deeply breathing in, deeply breathing out. Then the number of breaths per minute becomes really low. So the exercise you have to start with today or from now onwards is try to breathe deeply in and deeply out with lot of awareness towards the breath. So that will be the next criticism I get when I talk all this is that we don't have time to watch on the breath. You can make time when you see the TV. You can make time, when you sit simply, when you make time, when you play with kids. Everything you can do. You have time, just that you don't want it. So the moment you start breathing deeply in and breathe deeply out, you become more and more healthy because breathe is the only thing which can nourish you, which can lead you to the stable mind and stable bodies and healthy life. So this is what I would like to tell about breathing because breathing is that important. I want you to just stick a post-it. I want to stick a note on wherever you are working, maybe your kitchen or maybe your workplace. That written in that should be I am breathing, so that you will remember to breathe with awareness, and that can increase the lifespan as told in this table. The mouse, the shrew, hardly they live for a year because their breathing speed is that much, 300 to 800 and all that. So breathe well to sustain yourself healthy. So that is the easiest tool you have to go towards yoga. Now, the topic of the day, 6th International Day of Yoga, as told in the welcome speech. We have started with International Yoga on 2015, though it was coined in 2014 September, and just because that people have come to know, though yoga was the treasure of India, very lately we have recognized it because it is not an easy path to follow yoga because you have to take care of your food, you have to spend some time for asanas, you have to spend some time for pranayama, you need to really sit quietly. That is the greatest pain of people. People doesn't know how to sit quietly, silently for meditation. Even for a minute, if I tell you to close your eyes and sit quietly for a minute, it is just not possible for you. Now you complain of lot of work and work pressure and all that, but if I tell you to sit quietly for a minute or so, that is more tension giving, or that is more difficult for you than the stressful work you do, because that is just not possible by people nowadays. So the treasure of India, yoga, we have understood that this is the only tool by which we can increase our immunity and keep our health, because we don't have a hold on any of the pandemics. We don't have hold on any other issues coming to this world, any other diseases coming to this world. We really don't have any hold on that. The only hold we have is our health, our body. Our immunity can be increased by us. So yoga is the best tool for that. So International Day is being coined for us to make, to realize that yoga should be a part of life, as it should be a daily routine for our life. As we eat 3 times a day, we take bath, we go to schools, we go to colleges, we talk to our friends. So such a daily routine should be yoga. Spend at least half an hour or 1 hour every day, so that the real aim of being coined this International Day of Yoga will be fruitful. So this is what I wanted to speak about yoga. And if you have queries, you can ask me. If I am able to answer, I will answer. And otherwise, you can give me a mail ID. I can refer and give you the answers. Thank you everyone, my dear children and teachers. Thank you to patiently listening to me without any disturbances in the
Madam,
webinar.
there are questions for you in the chat box. 3 questions.
Okay. Any basic exercises before starting yoga for beginners? Of course, there are exercises. These asanas, you have seen some of the asanas in my pictures. So, exercises means you need all the joints, all the muscles, you need a flexibility for all that. So, because you have not been using all these since years together, is it not? If you're 30 plus or 40 plus, it should not. It should be over 40 years that you have been using the particular joint. Take the example of your hand. You must not have used this, maximum. Or take the example of your neck. You must not have used this, maximum. You really have to look up. It may not be possible nowadays because you don't use it usually. Now, what is the real use of this neck? You just see your mobile, you see your computer. Maximum, you just turn so much. But the range of movement of this neck is so much. You really can look back and you can just touch your chin to the chest. This is the range of movement for this joint. So you have to start with Sukshma Vyayama, what we call, that each joint has to be given the maximum range of movement and it has to be exercised. So if you get a chance for a normal class, I can always teach you all these part by part exercises from the neck onwards till the toes. You have to start like that, and at same time you have to start with the pranayama also. Only then together you can work out yoga. Can you tell us yoga other than pranayama which anyone can do every day for their health? This is the best. That's why I have stressed on breathing. If you say that you have brought down the breath per minute less than 10, you are an eligible person for yoga. That is usually I say in my class. You know to breathe, then come back. Come here for yoga. If you don't know to breathe, don't come for yoga. This is a very simple tool you have in your own hands. It is your breath I am talking about. It's not the breath which I am taking. It's not my breath I am talking about. So you breathe deeply and see. So you can take a simple, experiment on yourself because you are the laboratory. You can do the experiment. Breathe well for 1 week. You can see that if you have a BP, it comes down. If you have a cholesterol, it comes down. If you have a diabetic problem, it comes down at least for 1 unit, because that breath does lot of things, because that is not the oxygen you're taking in. You are taking in prana from the environment, which has all the functions inside your body. As I've said, Dhyana prana does the circulation, Udana prana does the voice and facial expressions and all the things. Digestion is taken care by Samana prana. Apana prana takes care of your excretion process. So forget everything. Forget all the theories and equations of yoga. All do's and don'ts, you just forget. Just breathe. Just breathe for a week and see how your health benefits. And not only health, physical health, your mind, your psychology part also benefits. You start feeling at the top of the clouds.
Participants, if you have any
Anything
queries, then you can unmute your device and ask. Meanwhile, ma'am, there is one more question in the chat box. Please explain the difference of exercise,
Yes.
asana, and yoga. Yoga is an exercise or not?
Yes. Yes, yoga is an exercise. It's just a portion of it. You can explain it as an exercise because you are doing something with your body. But what is the difference? If it's a very good question, because if you especially Pearly Miss has to be asking this to me, because if you are doing exercise and sports and all that, there is an overloading of exercise to certain muscles. If you can see these people who run a marathon and all that, their muscles in the legs will be strained because they're using it more. But when you talk of yoga, there are two parts in that. We call in autonomic nervous system. We have two parts. One is sympathetic nervous system, one is parasympathetic nervous system. When you are doing a work, the sympathetic nervous system acts and the muscle gets required toning and power and all that, and you start acting. Once you finish that action, you go for rest. It may be called as shavasana, or it may be called as any other resting posture in yoga, and that particular acted muscle and nerves get complete rest. That is parasympathetic nervous system acting on that. So autonomic nervous system is completely maintained by yoga. So that is a benefit of that. We don't get the overload in certain muscles or joints or bones or whatever it is. And there is one more question I can see there, ma'am. It is kindly explain Kundalini Yoga. Kundalini Yoga, Mr. Satish, is like, it's a very higher self of yoga. You need to study the chakras. There are 7 chakras in our 6 plus 1 chakras in our body. You are energizing each chakra and trying to bring your energy from the basal chakra called Muladhara chakra to the Sahasrara, which is supposed to be out of the body. So it's a very, very interesting and very elaborate yoga, and you need a lot of homework for that. Anything else?
Yes, one more question.
No,
Which yogasana is preferred for obese persons?
Obese person. Obesity has become a very common word in my classes nowadays. Why? So now the first question is, why this obesity? Why did it happen to you? That is the first question. So even if you go for a morning walk, if you go for a jogging, everything, you can burn up the fat. But if you are a person who are eating very small portion of food, usually it happens. Maybe one ചെറിയൊരു തവി ചോറ് മാത്രമേ നിങ്ങൾ കഴിക്കുന്നുള്ളൂ. And still you want to reduce, and you are growing obese, and your intake is very less, and you are planning to go for a 2-kilometer jogging. You will only disturb your whole system. So my suggestion would be, you have to first study yourself and find out why this obesity has come up to you. So if it is something hormonal, and if it is because of something else, because of any medicines you're taking or any idiopathic things, first find out the cause for it. And if it is hormonal, there will be yogasanas to correct your hormonal disturbances. If it is just the fat, because of your overeating, you have to cut down on eating. No asanas is going to help you. It can only help you in a very minimal way, little bit of burning of the fat and all that. So the real cause of obesity should be known. Only then you can be treating it.
Ma'am, next question. For children, from which age we can start practicing yoga?
When did the child start to breathe? That is the first question I would ask. When did your child start breathing? If the child has been breathing from the day 1, then child has been starting with their yoga practice from the day 1. Because breathing is the first and foremost part that you are taking in prana for your uses of the body. So as I have explained in this whole session, that asana is not the only thing in yoga. Even breathing is a thing. So if the kid is 8 years and more, the muscle and the bone is fit enough to do some postures. Otherwise, pranayama is more than enough. Teach them how to concentrate. As I have told you, let them close their eyes, concentrate on their breath. It is called Soham meditation. Let them concentrate on the breath and let them learn to be quiet, because talking is easy. Being quiet is very difficult. Let them close their eyes, because the രാസമാറ്റങ്ങൾ നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. There are a lot of energy changes, there are a lot of chemical changes happening in the brain when you're quiet and when you're concentrating on one single point. That is meditation. So teach the kids not to meditate, but to concentrate on one single point. And the easiest thing you get as the object to concentrate on is your breath. So just close your eyes, see how you're breathing in, see how you're breathing out, see the temperature of your breath, see how it is touching your nostrils, see how much long is your breath reaching inside you, till your stomach, till your lungs, or till your throat. You can watch your breath. There are many factors in the breath. You can just keep watching your breath That is the best meditation you can do. And in turn, this will give you an enormous changes in your brain that you can't even think of. No other medicines, no other supplements can be giving this difference in the brain.
Okay, another question in the chat box. What are the short-term courses in yoga?
See, you can learn yoga for two ways. Either as a profession, if you want to go take yoga as a profession, there are a number of courses you wanted to do for 1 year. There are PG diploma courses, postgraduate diploma courses. Do you have MSc courses? There are yoga and consciousness is there. There is yoga therapy is there. There are many courses like that. There are 3 months. And if you want to know yoga for your purpose, you to keep yourself healthy and not as a profession, then you have small courses. For 1 month course will be there. There are 3 months courses will be there. There are many, but make sure the person who is teaching you is well versed with the physiology and anatomy of yourself. I won't tell you you should learn from a doctor, but preferably if you can get a doctor to teach yoga, it would be well and good. But otherwise, at least the person should be knowing your physiology and anatomy so that you won't break your bones and you won't disturb your nerves.
Okay, ma'am. There is a related question also. I think the answer is already given. Is it a good way to learn yoga by referring YouTube videos?
Yeah, I have read that. That's why in
Yeah,
between I
okay,
told
okay,
that
okay,
the first
okay,
thing,
okay.
see, YouTube videos are many types. There are people very well educated about yoga, also teach yoga. You have to use your common sense and find out whether it is okay. Especially you don't jump into the very advanced postures. Start with all small postures. As I have said, if you really interested in yoga, start with moving all your joints from the neck. You have neck, you have shoulders, you have wrist, you have elbows, then you have your hip and you have your knees, you have your ankle. Slowly start with exercising all those portions, all the joints. Then you start giving exercises to your major muscles. You have biceps, you have triceps, you have quadriceps, you have abdominalis. Now all these muscles you start giving exercise to, and in 2 weeks time you will be ready to do some postures. Otherwise, and when you do these postures, when you're exercising these postures, make sure you deeply breathe in and breathe out, because it is the aerobic exercise. It is a type of aerobic exercise. When you do aerobic exercise, you fatigue less, you are exhausted less. So you do a lot of deep breathing and do all these exercise, then you're fit for doing all the difficult postures also. If you get a chance, we'll arrange for some practical sessions also, because that would be a greater way of doing yoga than just a one way speaking and you just listening whatever I speak. That would be a greater way of speaking. Anything else, ma'am?
There is one more doubt in the chat box. Can you suggest yoga for diabetic persons?
Again, the question is, why did diabetes come to you? Is it hereditary? Is it something you have acquired? What is your age? And what are the difficulties you are facing now with diabetes? There are people with a chronic diabetes for more than 30 years, more than 20 years. They have been suffering. They have had the retinopathies. They have the muscular disturbances. They are not able to walk, or so many disturbances they are facing. So according to that individual ability, we have to suggest. Otherwise, if you are very broadly speaking about diabetes, yoga for diabetes, the twisting asanas like Vakrasana, Ardhamatyendrasana, Kati Chakrasana, Chakrasana, wherever the twisting of asanas comes, the twisting of the body comes, such asanas are good for diabetes, provided the pancreas is being disturbed. There are many number of reasons for diabetes. That's why if it is normal one, and if the body is fit enough to do all this, Vakrasana is little easy, but Ardha Matsyendrasana is little difficult. All the twisting postures, Bharadwajasana, All these are given for diabetic patients, and you really see lot of differences. Even pranayama, you can do good number of pranayama. If kapha is more, you can do jai pranayama. So if it is vata which is disturbing you, so if you do surya bhedana pranayama, the diabetes comes down. So you need a thorough checkup of yourself. That would be my suggestion. If you can give a good checkup of yourself and then find out the real cause of it and then start doing yoga, it would be the perfect one. And maybe 15 days would be more than enough to treat yourself.
Participants, if you have any questions to ask, you can unmute your phone and ask. If the link for getting e-certificate is posted in the chat box, you can fill and get the e-certificate in the registered mail. I invite the Dr. Sister Sharon to deliver the vote of thanks.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Respected Principal, Dr. Sister Shalini, Dr. Vrinda Madhavan, the resource person of the webinar, Dr. Cicily Pearly Alex, the head of the physical education, dear participants, my dear colleagues and friends. A very good morning to one and all gathered in the web. It is my great privilege and honor to propose vote of thanks for this great webinar on Yoga for the Healthy Living, organized by the Department of Physical Education in connection with International Yoga Day celebration. May I take this opportunity to congratulate Dr. Cicely Pearly Alex and team for organizing such a wonderful session to celebrate the day meaningfully and fruitfully. At the outset, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Dr. Vrinda Madhavan, the resource person of the webinar, for her excellent talk and presentation on this International Yoga Day. In her lecture, Madam highlighted the importance of yoga for a healthy living. As she pointed out, the yoga can increase our physical and mental health to a certain extent. He dealt with all aspects of yoga, different type of yoga, health, all this aspect he dealt with thoroughly. The session was highly informative, effective, and interesting. So, I, Sister Sharon, on behalf of Department of Physical Education, Principal, Management, Vice Principal, staff, students of St. Xavier's College for Women, Aluva, extend a hearty thanks to you, dear Madam. May I express a heartfelt thanks to respected Principal, Dr. Sister Shalini, the inspiring source of all our endeavors. Thank you, Sister. Thank you, dear Sister Stella, the Vice Principal of the college, for your guidance in this regard. We have very good number of participants from various esteemed institutions for this webinar. I take this opportunity to thank all of them for their wholehearted support and active participation. I would like to thank Dr. Cicely Pearly Alex, the organizer of this great event, and Dr. Ansa Alphonse Anthony, Dr. Bridget, Dr. Lena Dinja, Ms. Binu Koraya, and all others for entering various services to make this webinar a reality. Once again, thank you all who helped us to make this webinar a memorable event. So thank you very much.
Thank you all for attending this webinar and making it a grand success. Your e-certificates will send to you to a registered email ID after submitting the feedback form. Thank you once again. Thank you.